Alright, what is up guys? We're going back to a brand new video. We are back for another Q&A. You guys love the Q&As. We're going to keep doing it every Thursday. We do a Q&A. So if you guys want to ask for next week, comment in the comment section below and I will make sure to add it and get to as many questions as possible. UFC 285 is right here, so I assume there's going to be some questions about that, and let's just get into this. Enough wasting time. Alright, first question of the day. Mine Canal wants to know, what would need to happen for a UFC event to sell double what is the highest current UFC event did? Well, that current UFC event was Conor McGregor versus Khabib. I think a lot of you guys know that rivalry just carried the promotion. I mean, obviously with Conor, smashing the bus and then talking shit, and obviously Khabib being this undefeated guy, Conor McGregor coming back after a long layoff. It definitely was a big deal, and honestly, I don't know if Conor will ever be able to get to that height again unless he keeps winning, just because at the end of the day, people like winners. People like people that win. Maybe Logan Paul and Paddy Pimblett. I'm just kidding. What the hell? Like, you guys know I'm kidding. Relax. Honestly, I think maybe if Jon Jones wins the belt, Francis Ngannou fights a guy like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, knocks them out, Francis has all this hype around him, comes back to the UFC for a massive deal, comes back as the champion who never lost his belt, faces the greatest of all time, Jon Jones. I could definitely see that fight doing better, but honestly, 2.5 million is such a hard number to beat. That's why even that might not even be able to break it. I've said this before in a Q&A when people ask me, like, what makes a star? I think it's going to be someone that we don't know. I don't think that there's anybody that's going to all of a sudden pop off. So I think it'll probably be someone that we don't even know yet that will break that record. I think it's definitely going to break that record because let's be real, the UFC right now is bigger than it was in 2018. So imagine we have a massive fight now. Imagine if Khabib and Conor happened right now with the same stakes and all of that. That would be 10 times more massive than it was. All right, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name, but why do you think there are so many top level fighters from specific countries and then there's big countries like Germany where there are literally no good fighters? First of all, thank you for the compliments in the beginning of the question. I just cut it just to save time. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at a lot of these smaller countries, it's just a matter of want, Obviously in different countries, it's obviously different economical circumstances. Sometimes like in America where a lot of people have a lot of things and for the most part, people are making money than they would in other smaller countries. So it's just really a matter of want and a matter of choice. A lot of it too is culture, when you look at Dagestani culture, they're forced to wrestle at a young age. Like, in America, it's kind of like basketball or maybe even football, but in Dagestan, it's like you have to wrestle. Like, you're a weirdo for not wrestling. So I just think it has a lot to do with what you're given and what you start with. All right, my guy Super Soldier asked, who is the most likely future dominant champ between lightweight prospects? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. Armin Sarukian, Mateusz Gamrot, Rafael Fiziev. I mean, there's a lot of top guys that are coming up in the rankings. I think if Fiziev can manage his takedown defense, I think he could be a little bit of a problem. I'm going Armin Sarukian. I think that he is the most likely guy. We saw him give Islam problems in terms of the wrestling. I don't think that was really a close decision. I thought Islam won the fight pretty clearly, despite what some people say, but I'd probably say Armin Sarukian. I think he's just better all around. All right, Chisam3 asks, I know in the past you said you don't think the next big UFC star is not in the organization yet, but what attributes do you think it takes to make a star? The craziest part is I didn't even know this question was in here, so it's just funny that I mentioned it a few questions ago, but yes, I did say that. And what attributes? I think it just takes a few things. I think, relatable. I think you have to be kind of funny in a way, obviously have your own unique style, and I think most of all what makes a big fighter really, really big is you also have to fight good. We see fighters like Colby Covington that are entertaining in the way that they talk trash, but when they enter the cage, you see a lot of the time it's kind of like a lay and pray style. Colby Covington, if he incorporated some ground and pound, I think would be a lot more exciting. But for the Jorge Masvidal fight, a lot of it was against the cage and was holding Jorge Masvidal. But yeah, I think you're gonna have a mix of all those things to be big. Sergey or Blaydes? Who do I think is going to win? I'm gonna go with Curtis Blaydes. I think Curtis Blaydes is gonna get the takedown. He has really good ground and pound. I think he's a really good all around. I think he's one of the most underrated heavyweight fighters. I think he will be a champion at some point in his career. I think he just had a lot of bad luck with losing to Francis pretty early on, and Francis being such a big guy in the division, and also losing to Derek Lewis. I think 9 times out of 10 Curtis Blaydes beats Derek Lewis. However, it just really comes down to the night, and unfortunately for Curtis Blaydes, I think that's why we're gonna see him struggle to get a title shot in the future. What really sucks is Stipe, because Stipe might jump the queue and get a title shot, and then what happens to Curtis Blaydes if he beats Sergey? What is he gonna wait till the end of the year? If that, maybe even Jon Jones retires after beating Stipe if he beats Stipe. So we're gonna have to see, but I do trust that at some point in Curtis Blaydes' career, I think he'll be a champion. Hey Jack, what do you use to edit? I'm not tech savvy, but would love to start a channel. You're inspiring me to keep posting videos on my channel and get over the fear of sharing with others. I definitely encourage you, if that's what you want to do, definitely try it. What I used to edit, I first started using Filmora, as a lot of you guys know in my earlier videos, I mentioned that I use that, but now for the past few weeks, I've been using Premiere Pro, and I think you guys could see a difference. The editing has definitely improved a lot. The quality of the videos have improved a lot. So I would say if you're not very tech savvy, start with a Filmora type, get comfortable with that, and then maybe you could upgrade to a Premiere Pro. Or if you're looking for something free, DaVinci is also a really good software that's free. Does Leon Edwards have a chance winning the the rematch? And shouldn't Shevchenko be a female GOAT, or can Blanchfield beat her? So that's like 3 questions there, so let me break it down. First of all, can Leon Edwards win the rematch? Absolutely. And I'm probably going to be picking Leon Edwards. I picked Leon Edwards all the way back in December 2021. I said that he was going to beat Kamaru Usman with a high kick. But in my opinion, it's like, look, this was Leon's worst case scenario, and he still managed to knock out Usman. I mean, he was facing the #1 pound-for-pound guy, obviously taking a mental toll on him. You obviously had to deal with the altitude problem coming over to America. Now all of it is in his favor. He's the champion. He's a defending guy. He has the confidence that he can knock out Usman. The altitude's not going to be a problem. You know, I think a lot of this favors Leon Edwards. I think Edwards' takedown defense is going to be able to hold up, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by Leon Edwards. I think he's going to beat Kamaru Usman again and maybe even knock him out. So should Valentina Shevchenko be the female GOAT? You know, obviously she's fighting this weekend. The thing is about Valentina is, my confession is, I actually don't like Valentina Shevchenko, and it's just because I just find her too perfect. Like, who the hell could relate to Valentina Shevchenko? I mean, she speaks like 80 different languages, is like a near perfect mixed martial artist, is like a businesswoman, I think. Like, she was doing fucking sumo wrestling last week. But is she the GOAT? I think Amanda Nunes probably is the GOAT just because she's beat Valentina Shevchenko. I think if Valentina, though, beats the likes of Erin Blanchfield coming up, defeats Talia Santos in a convincing way, Manon Fiorot, these top up-and-coming contenders, if she's able to beat these girls with a lot of hype, I think we're going to start seeing Valentina Shevchenko being edged up in the GOAT conversation, because, look, Amanda does have that weight advantage, and let's face it, Amanda isn't really facing that kind of competition either. I think if she's the champion by the end of next year, I think, yeah, she's probably the GOAT. But we're also going to have to see what Amanda Nunes does in that time, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Can Erin Blanchfield beat her? I don't know. I mean, look, Erin Blanchfield doesn't have a lot of experience. She's 23 years old. I put a lot of hype on Erin Blanchfield before a lot of people did. Now all of a sudden people are saying that she could beat Valentina Shevchenko. I said this, I think you could see it in my UFC 281 video, that I said that she would be a problem for Valentina Shevchenko. So I think she could, absolutely, but it's just really a matter of experience. I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't think Shevchenko should be an underdog necessarily. I think it should be close odds probably. I could see a scenario where it's close odds and a lot of people are saying Erin Blanchfield and picking Erin Blanchfield, and then Valentina Shevchenko just dominates her and reminds everyone who she is. Let's see her fight this weekend and let's see how it goes down. Do you train any martial arts? If yes, do you compete? Yes, I feel like I answer this every video, but I still love you. Yes, I do. I train jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. I've done boxing for a while, and I feel like I give the same answer every time, but at some point I will compete. At some point, I'm telling you, it will happen. I would love to get big and do some sort of YouTuber type of situation, you know, maybe get on like a Misfits card or something like that, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. Maybe another MMA YouTuber. Thomas Columbus asked, do you think Ciryl Gane is getting unfair treatment from Chael, calling him 1-1 in his last 2 when conveniently leaving out he was 10-0 before that? Ciryl Gane lost 2 rounds to Francis. I think he's way better and definitely deserving of this title fight. Look, the truth is I think Curtis Blaydes, if we're talking about purely who deserves it, I think it's Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes definitely deserves it. When you look at the resume of Curtis Blaydes versus Ciryl Gane, I think, yeah, you'd have to give it to Curtis Blaydes, but I don't mind Ciryl Gane getting the title shot. I'd actually prefer Ciryl Gane getting the title shot, so I don't think he's undeserving necessarily. I'm just saying, if we're going to play the deserving game, I think you got to give it to Curtis, but definitely, I mean, I think Ciryl Gane's a very high-level fighter. He's very intelligent, and he's not just 10-0, he's like 17-0, because he also has kickboxing matches, boxing matches that he's also undefeated in. Like, the guy has only lost to Francis, and that was super close. I don't think he expected to wrestle, and honestly, I don't really watch Chael Sonnen too much. Like, sometimes I used to watch him. I haven't watched him in a very long time, though, so I didn't even know that he would shit on Ciryl Gane that much. Maybe he's just trying to undervalue John Jones's win, because I know he does not like John Jones at all. Bro, you got like a black Spider-Man chair or something. I've been trying to figure it out for weeks. Loving the videos. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Thank you. And yes, this is a... Let me try to move. It is a Spider-Man chair. I'll put it on the screen. I got this a few years ago. The thing is, I think a lot of you guys could tell from like some of the shirts I wear, you know, I used to be, and I still am, you know, a big, you know, Marvel DC fan. Not as much anymore, you know, I'm more into MMA and things like that, but especially when I was in like middle school, I got out of it when I kind of got into high school. So that's why I have like a lot of shirts from it and things like that, but I still see the movies. I still somewhat try to keep up with the shows, but there's just so many shows to keep up with. It's like, I don't even know how. What are your thoughts on MMA Guru's opinion that Ciryl Gane won the fight against Francis? Yeah, I watched half of the video. I kind of just got bored through it, but yeah, I think that sometimes the MMA Guru gets a little too exact with the rules. Like, yes, maybe technically if you want to make a case, there might be a case for Ciryl Gane to win, but at the end of the day, I think most people would agree Francis Ngannou won. I get it. If you want to look at the rules and read every single thing in the fine print, yes, you could probably make a case for a lot of fights, and the MMA Guru does that a lot. Like, I did see him say also Alexander Volkanovski beat Islam Makhachev in the 4th round, or saying that there was a case case at least for it. I don't think so. I think in my opinion with the judging thing, just to get off topic, is someone asked me a while ago how to fix judging, and I recently came up with this idea. I don't think it's fair for rounds to be scored 10-9. Let me put it like this: rounds 1, 2, and 3 are razor close in that Volkanovski-Islam fight. So how is it fair for those rounds to be scored the same as that 5th round when it was so dominant? So maybe I think a 10-9 is a close round, a 10-8 is a clear round, and like a 10-7 is like a dominant round. Like a 10-7 would replace a 10-8 basically. But I just really don't think it's fair. Like clearly Volkanovski did more, and I think it would encourage fighters to do more in those rounds. I think that would definitely help, but of course we always have the problem with these judges that don't even know what they're talking about, so it's kind of hard to leave more things into interpretation when it comes to the judging. The judging is of course hard, but no, I think it's pretty clear that Francis Ngannou did win that fight. I don't think there's much debate on that, and I agree with a lot of the MMA guru, but I just think that this Ciryl Gane take is just not it. I think Ciryl Gane lost the fight. Like, let's be real. What do you think of Shane Mosley? So I assume this is talking about Jake Paul's coach, because I did a video about Jake Paul and his coaching. I think Shane Mosley, I responded to a few comments saying that Shane Mosley should be his next coach. I actually don't disagree. Shane Mosley is good because Shane Mosley doesn't need to be there. Look, he's already had a boxing legacy. He doesn't need to prove himself in the world of boxing, so he doesn't have that on the line. He also doesn't need the money. I mean, the guy is rich, and when he trained with Jake Paul, he made Jake Paul move to Big Bear to train with him. He wasn't like, hey, I'm coming to Los Angeles. No, you had to come to him. So this guy's like, hey man, like I don't need you, you know, like if you leave, if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. And that's what Jake needs. Jake needs to get rid of these yes men. Jake needs a one technical guy like Shane Mosley to break down what's going on. He's a good boxer. You also need a guy to give you kind of tough love when you need it. He also was very important, I think, for teaching Jake a lot of things, and maybe I'm giving BJ too much credit in the video. Maybe that was more of Shane Mosley, and Shane is just a smarter fighter than BJ. I'm sorry BJ, but you suck. Like honestly, I'm telling you guys, I'm probably gonna do a follow-up video because the evidence I found made me like literally hate this guy. I don't usually shit on people often on the channel, but yeah, this guy is literally a dickhead. Like I actually follow him on Instagram, so I should probably go unfollow him now, but this guy is literally a dickhead. Like I have to make some sort of video about this. I almost wish I didn't make the other video and waited so I could have added more evidence, so it would have made a lot more sense. Man, wait till you see this evidence that I have. Why do you look like BJ Flores? Like if you're gonna say an insult, you know, at least make it good. Or maybe this isn't even an insult. Maybe I'm just now insulting BJ Flores by acting like it's an insult. But I'm not even bald. Like what the hell are you talking about? Like the comparisons basically end at white. Like that's basically where it ends. Who's next for Conor if he beats Mike? I really don't think that there's interest in an Islam title shot. Like, I mean, yes, that would probably be the most likely option if it was Charles Oliveira, but guys, I don't think anyone wants to see Islam versus Conor. Obviously they have some sort of history with Habib and all of that, and I guess that's marketable, but who really wants to see that? Nobody thinks Conor's going to win. I think we'd much rather see him win winnable and competitive fights, and who knows, maybe he fights a guy like a Dustin Poirier again. Maybe in this hypothetical world he beats Dustin Poirier and then he beats another guy, and then maybe we're talking, hey, let's see him fight Islam Makhachev. But I can't imagine a scenario where Conor McGregor's performance is going to make me go, let's see Islam Makhachev, right? It would have to, the only way I would say that is if I think that he could win. So no, I'm not going to be interested in that. Maybe Dustin Poirier after a 4th fight. Maybe there's unfinished business there. I think it's whoever Conor wants. Whoever Conor calls out on the mic, whoever Conor hints at is whoever we're going to say, because it'll be hype if he calls out a Jorge Masvidal or he calls out a Dustin Poirier. Professor Lemon asks, if you could have one interview on your channel, who in the fight game, past or present, would you like to interview the most and why? So I did a lot of more interviews back then, you know, it is something that I want to do a little bit more. I think you guys like this style a little bit more than the interviews, so that's why I haven't really done interviews in a long time. But to answer your question, who would I want, past or present? I mean, I wouldn't mind Conor. You know, I have a lot of questions for Conor. I want to know about his return. I want to know his thought process. I have a lot of questions that I want to know about Conor, like how he's been doing, what's his mindset going into this Michael Chandler fight game plan, what does he think about the lightweight division? I mean, there's so many questions that we don't really know about Conor because he doesn't do much interviews, so I'd probably pick Conor just because of the curiosity there. Hey Jack, I wanted to ask, what submission do you have the most success with in training? Also, what submission do you enjoy watching as a viewer? Good question. You know, so a lot of people say, and including myself, I think that I'm just really good at Kimuras. I don't know what it is. I don't know. A lot of people get confused with the grip of it, but even people that have been doing jiu-jitsu for way longer than me, asking me about the Kimura, asking me like questions about how I do it, I feel like I could lock it up fast. I feel like it's just like a muscle memory thing where I'm able to get that in danger quick. Watching as a viewer, I like watching a Darce choke, you know, a nice Darce choke. No, actually, no, that's boring to watch, honestly. What am I chatting about? I would rather watch like a heel hook or an Imanari roll type, like Ryan Hall style. Like Ryan Hall is a really interesting guy to watch. So I'd probably go with an Imanari roll. Why not? All right, Scribbles of Owls says, can I be your friend? No. because you already are my friend, my man. You know, welcome. All you guys are my friends. But specifically you, I did see you defend my name in the comment section. I forgot what you said. Something about me submitting somebody. So I remember I did read it. I think I liked it. So yes, we're homies, you know. Respect, you know, we see each other, we're gonna be like, what's up, and it's gonna be like old time. Final question of the day. I think Till could probably easily get picked up by Bellator or even the PFL. How do you think he does in either one of those organizations? It's hard to remember what's good about a fighter when they've obviously been on a losing streak, but I think a lot of UFC fighters, even lower UFC fighters, are probably better than mid-tier Bellator and mid-tier PFL fighters. I won't say high tier of those fighters, but it's just the truth. They face better competition. Darren Till has. I could see him going to the PFL simply because I know Brendan Loughnane is in the PFL, and I can see him maybe getting talked into it by Brendan Loughnane and comparing his career to Brendan, because Brendan is a much younger guy and is getting $1 million from the PFL, fighting lesser competition. Like, I could definitely see Darren Till looking at his teammate being like, hey, I'm in the UFC and you're at this other organization doing way better than me. What's going on? So I think if I were to take a bet, I'd say PFL. I think simply because of that. But I could also see him doing some sort of like BKFC boxing thing. I don't think there's much interest in like seeing Darren Till fight an actual like top tier boxer. Look, at the end of the day, look, your career is short. Obviously, I think Tyron Woodley fight had a lot of damage mentally on Darren Till. Like, I think that took a lot out of him and a lot of it of his motivation going into fights. I think it's just a loss that he hasn't dealt with. And I think it was just because like he had so much hype going into that fight. A lot of people picked Darren Till going into that Tyron Woodley fight, and it didn't even look close. Like, Tyron Woodley smashed through Darren Till. A lot of it, in my opinion, because of the mistakes of Darren Till. He just wasn't active enough in the early round, and then in round 2 he just got caught with a big shot. I just think since then he hasn't really been there, and now he's had such a string of losses. Like, I think he has a lot of potential. I just think he needs to get over that mental block. I think less of skill. I think it's just the mental block of Darren Till. But that's going to conclude the Q&A, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoy, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, and all of that. There's going to be a hell of a video to edit because it's pretty long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one.